everyone, Phil Barrera here with the Wait For It podcast and Collective Con with my guest, Reagan Murdock. Reagan, how are you doing today?
Hey, how's it going? I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm doing just fine. Thanks for doing this and for being here this weekend. It's so awesome to see you. We talked a little bit about this in your panel that we just came off of, but it's been a whirlwind of last year and a half. The film came out. We were joking like the last time we saw you, the Funkos hadn't even arrived yet, and now there's all this other stuff that's out there as far as merchandise. So what's just that been like with the film coming out, and then of course with a big arc on the horizon as well?
Oh yeah, it's been amazing. You know, we started off reading the manga, years ago, and we were all trying to speculate. Oh, how do you think they're going to do, the pool scene, or the shark rodeo and whatever. And everything, literally everything that we were looking forward to, the animators just blew completely out of the water. You can tell just how big of fans the staff at MAPPA are of this work, and we can absolutely see why. It really is kind of like it's like an artist's anime. It's very much for the people who kind of feel a little bit more outcast, a little bit more like people don't understand them, and that's kind of the vibe we get from the people who come up, and we just, we love giving them a place where they belong.
Yeah, absolutely. That's very well put on art. It's just beautiful, and also again reading it, like, man, how are they going to do this? And then it's just perfect, really, really perfect. So you're talking about you just spoke to people who maybe feel a little bit like an outcast or maybe a little out of place, and you talk a lot about yourself being an introvert, and sometimes that will prevent people from either coming out to something like this or even pursuing something such as voice acting. So as someone who is introverted, maybe speak to some of those people that couldn't make it here to Collective Con or just didn't feel like it, coming out here this weekend for whatever reason. Maybe speak to those people about how you power through and also enjoy these interactions that you get to have, even though, maybe rather be at home.
Honestly.
But not really.
No, for real though, for real. It really is rewarding coming out to these things. Yeah. Very often we learn to bottle these kinds of things up, all the nerdy stuff. I remember I was back in middle school and hiding the fact that I was watching Naruto from all my friends. But here you can just let it all out. Let that geek out. Come up to us at our booths and everything. We have yap safe zones here. We love listening to people geek out about this stuff. We love being able to just talk to people about stuff, because we're human beings, we're people. We have hobbies, we like talking about those. We want you to share those with us too. And it really is cool seeing people like me, like you, who don't often crawl out of our little hidey holes. It is actually genuinely rewarding to just come out and actually be in a space and to allow yourself to take up space, and it's I would just encourage you to come out, just give it a try. You might like it, you might make some friends. If you don't know who to be friends with, just look for the people who are in the costumes from the show you like, and you'll find them.
It's great how many people find community here.
Oh yeah,
which is fantastic. Some people who only see each other at conventions, so that's really great, and encourage you to make it out here as well for sure. So you talk. We've discussed before. Your theater background. How has that helped you transitioning into the space with voice acting? So I'm very early on in my voice acting career, and my coach, we've started with theater monologues, which has been outstanding. So why do you think that's such a useful tool to have when it comes to your theater background?
Oh, so many reasons. For one thing, we do take in anime, we do take things, just maybe a couple of lines at a time, because you have to make sure that you're getting the lip movements correctly. But other than that, you want to make sure that you're able to keep an emotional flow going. You want this line to flow into that line to flow into that line, because that's how people talk. The exercising the imagination is also one of the most important parts, because when you're in that voiceover booth, you do have the animation right there, but that doesn't mean that you're really envisioning yourself in that scenario. And that's kind of my process when I'm doing anime. I'll have the script up there to let me know what words I'm supposed to say, but really I just kind of look off into the middle distance, not focusing my attention on anything in particular, and just imagine myself in that space, and I'll be doing the gestures and the I'll be throwing my hands around, and if my character is hunched over, sometimes I'll do that.
Yeah.
It's being able to think of yourself not only in the headspace but in the physical space
Sure.
as well.
Yeah, you said that like Aki doesn't know he's in a manga. He doesn't know
Yeah.
he's in an anime.
Yeah.
Your character on stage doesn't know they're in a theater show.
Exactly.
So did that? How do you kind of get used to that portion of the performance and putting yourself in that role? As opposed to I'm standing in front of an audience or I'm standing here in a booth.
Right. Well, it's again, it's just having a healthy, active imagination. It's we often say acting is reacting. So don't come in with that pre-prepared like, oh, I'm going to say this line exactly this way and this line is going to be this way, because you don't really know until you're actually in the moment doing it. And the more you try to prepare, often the more stilted and plastic it kind of sounds, because if you think about if you're nervous like me and you go up to the cash register at the the Taco Bell or whatever, and you're just like, okay, I'm going to say I would like this, this, and this, and that, please, and then you stumble over your words.
Yeah.
That happens in acting too. It's not going to get any better there. But yeah, it's allowing yourself to be free and to let what other people have done, let the other actor's performance, let the script, let the animation, let that do its thing,
Yeah.
and you just go along with it. Whatever ride is there, that, as Bruce Lee once said, be like water.
Awesome. Well, Reagan, again, thank you so much for taking the time. It's so great seeing you.
Good seeing
And
you.
once again, Reagan Murdock and Phil Barrera here at CollectiveCon. Thanks, guys.